Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Revolution on Radivision. I'm Mona Defrawi, the founder and CEO of Radivision, the new streaming and community platform for the startup world. Radivision believes that entrepreneurship and its equity creation are the most powerful ways to grow wealth and improve our world. And we're here to help everyone participate and succeed. We're no longer in the industrial revolution. We're in the entrepreneurial revolution, where equity is the new money. Entrepreneurship is the biggest trend on the planet today, with entrepreneurs as the new celebrities and trillions invested to create startup ecosystems worldwide. But 90% of all companies seeking venture capital fail to raise. And on the other side of the equation, 90% of all investors have little or no access to private market investments, which have delivered 70% higher returns in the public markets over the past 20 years, helping grow wealth faster than ever in history. I've been a member of a dozen startup teams over 3 decades, serving as founder and CEO of the last 4. I previously founded the first private market platform that delivers solutions to the startup industry's liquidity and returns problems caused by the IPO crisis after the internet bubble burst. Now, Radivision is democratizing the private market so everyone can grow wealth and more startups can be funded. Together, we have the power to usher in the greatest era of innovation, quality of life improvement, and wealth creation for all. I have been telling the stories of startups my whole career, and now Radivision tells startup stories at scale, where millions of consumers can tune in, be entertained, informed, and discover amazing founders, startups, investors, and resources. In Radivision's world, more get to play, and when everyone plays, we all win. Don't be left behind. Join the entrepreneurial revolution on Radivision. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. It's great to have you all here. And we're here today to talk about the new venture capital. So wait, what? Isn't the old venture capital just fine? I mean, why are we here? The year started out with over $1 trillion of venture capital assets under management, over $200 billion in dry powder alone, and fundraising is super easy. It's easier to start a startup today than at any other time, right? Money just falls out of the skies. All the good ideas are funded. Wrong. That's not what we've been hearing from our founders, and we're founders. I'm a founder. I've been telling this story for quite a while. I personally think it's harder to get funded today than ever before. And so that's what we're here to talk about. 90% of all startups seeking venture capital fail to raise. And the word I most often hear from founders, and Kelly works with a lot of founders as well, is traumatized. A lot of time is wasted that could be spent growing great companies, delivering products to market, getting sales, building good cultures. And instead, the system is broken. There's something wrong here. So Radivision aims to tell your amazing startup stories to entertain and inform the world, and in the process, hopefully fix this problem as well. So I've been supporting startups for 3 decades, telling their stories to the world. And now Radivision is doing this at scale. And I would love to introduce you to my colleague and trusted advisor and partner in innovation, Kelly Richards, who is the Silicon Valley Hollywood super connector. And I brought her in when I first started building this. So from the very earliest days before we built anything, to have Kelly's advice and support as we pulled the power of media and entertainment to support innovation here in Silicon Valley. So thank you, Kelly, for joining us. And I'd love for you to say a few more words about your illustrious career as well to share with the group, because I'm so fascinated by everything you've done.
Well, thank you, Mona, and I'm happy to join you for this. My background it's a long journey, but it's always been about the convergence of entertainment and technology. I should say music, entertainment, and technology. I am a product both of Hollywood and Silicon Valley. I was born in SoCal, raised in NorCal, literally hometown Cupertino, home of Apple, and was privileged to call Steve Jobs a mentor for several decades up to his passing, and was in fact a record label exec in Hollywood and later Apple's original lead on music and entertainment. So it's been my career path to bridge emerging technologies with new business models between the two worlds of content and innovation. And, many trends have have come and gone over the course of my career. Most often, my history with startups is that often they're too early. My visions for what would happen were always right about where trends were going, but often too early. So, we're going to talk about some of that, but market timing is essential for things to work, along with a confluence of other factors. And that brings us to where we are with Radivision. The time is at hand.
That's great. In fact, I actually was building something similar. I was building a second private market platform. I built the first one inside venture and sold it, and then was building a second one around 2012, 13. That may have been where we met originally, because we couldn't figure out where we had met, since we know each other so well now.
It's been a long journey, yeah.
Yeah, and it was 10 years before its time, and I said that. And actually, we flipped it around. So Radivision is truly a media company now, and then we know we're going to create a lot of investment opportunity, just like people watch Shark Tank for the last 14 seasons, and they click like crazy. Everybody knows the Shark Tank effect. People buy millions of dollars of product overnight. They download apps by the millions. And now Radivision is creating the Radivision effect, where people can activate a third click, which is to receive a referral to invest potentially in the company. So whether it goes to the company itself, or to a crowdfunding site, or to another fund or agent opportunity, since this is an emerging market now that's going to be the next move. This is going to be the next big thing I see in investing for the next decade. So, and I know we were chatting about that yesterday. So what do you see that's different today that you think helps with our timing from the Hollywood side, perhaps?
Well, I mean, gosh, streaming is probably the single biggest factor that's hit Hollywood in the past decade. And with that has come an opportunity for a lot more original content created by individuals outside the traditional studio system. And that includes a focus on shows that emphasize entrepreneurialism and the startup world. However, ironically, there really hasn't been a channel or a lot of shows outside of Shark Tank dedicated to the world of startups and entrepreneurs. And I think that's where the opportunity for Radivision programming has come in, and as well as the opportunity with crowdfunding and Reg D coming in a few years ago, for lay individuals, consumers, to actually invest in these startups legitimately.
Exactly. The SEC already has done the most difficult part. It's approved the legislation. It took, a very long time. And I think the first approvals came in 15 and 16. And then since then, they've been evolved and increased. And,
so a decade ago, people couldn't invest directly into these startups,
right?
When Shark Tank first came on the scene. And that's all changed. So again, it comes back to timing, market timing.
Exactly. And you're right. The whole, creation and user generated content. We do create our own original content, and we have you as an executive producer and casting director on some of the shows that we're, having conversations in Hollywood about. Everything on Radivision is reality based. It's about real companies, real founders, real investors. You go to Disney's Marvel franchise for the comic book heroes. You come to Radivision to see the real life heroes, the people curing cancer, fixing climate change, solving really big problems in the world, like maybe startup funding or, startup branding and early marketing, getting that word out. We actually create value in the world, not by gambling or, short squeezes and just, cryptocurrencies, playing the market. We actually, in our community, in our industry, we create real value. We deliver real value in the world. So we're taking wealth creation and connecting it to the real value. And I see a huge opportunity, for us to leverage the power of entertainment and media, especially with streaming media now, and 90+% of the traffic, on the web is streaming media, and leverage it to tell these great stories that people all over the world are dying to hear. There isn't a single place that they can go to, which seems crazy because there's a network for everything. And yet here's this whole space, the biggest, most popular trend on the planet, the current economic paradigm. And frankly,
the innovative growth that is going to impact all sectors for our lives moving forward. I mean, it all comes out of entrepreneurialism.
Yeah. And the legislation is there. So as we said, more assets than ever in the venture industry, 1 trillion. Guess how much retail investors, the small consumer investors, have assets that they could invest in this ecosystem? $64 trillion today. And that's down almost about 20% from where it was, a year ago, because of the market conditions. 64 trillion versus 1 trillion. So what do you think the power of the people is compared to the people in power? If we can organize them and give good opportunities, through the properly legislated channels, this could create a massive boom in funding, not only for the startups directly, but part of Radivision's vision is also to get emerging fund managers started and funded, IPOs. When I managed 4 IPOs over 10 years in the 90s, half of our shareholder base used to be retail. We had stockbrokers, we had financial analysts. There was a market structure that changed dramatically around 98, and that helped create the bubble, which was unsustainable and crashed. And then IPOs didn't come back till very late. In fact, I was called by VC leaders in 2007 to come fix the IPO crisis. And that's when I created the first private market platform.
And of course, they're gone again right now, but we'll be back again.
They are. But there's ways, I think, once people build, so using media and entertainment in the same way that people are using it for other things today, building communities, following a company, really getting the information, seeing its products. So on Radivision, companies can upload their videos to Pitch Planet, for example. We have a 99-second trailer so people can go through a lot quickly, and then they can watch a 3 to 10-second full episode, and with one click get to more information. The video follows them picture in picture so they can multitask, look at the profile pages, and then click to links to connect if they want to have a career. So there's lots of ways to build an equity portfolio too. It's not just investment. Recruiting is hard. Partnerships are hard. So we make it super easy for people to connect to companies and for companies to build their tribes. So,
and the programming is really a diverse set of opportunities as well. The show that we have that talks about, where it's kind of a carpool karaoke meets,
Driven.
Driven meets, the Jerry Seinfeld comedian thing, coffee and cars thing. It's really an opportunity for people to see firsthand the counsel that these entrepreneurs can get from smart advisors and venture capitalists in a very short period of time, and why that's so vital for the survival and the growth of these startups. Then we have a show like Black is the New Green that spotlights Black female executive founders and what their challenges and opportunities are, where there's all kinds of upside growth for those women moving forward, and how to not get effed. How to avoid.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about that one, because that was that's the big one that we're working on. This is a multi-million-dollar show, and our research showed it would deliver over 5 million viewers on Netflix, matching Netflix demographics, and over 700,000 new subscribers would come to Netflix to have access to the show. And that's one where it's how to not get effed, right? It's really a show about success, because startups have a 90% failure rate.
That's right.
And so we created each of these shows understanding the market. That's what's different about Kelly and I. We've been in this entrepreneurial market for a very long time and understand where the bodies are buried. And, we've earned our stripes, and we understand the language and who the people are, who the players are. And so with a 90% failure rate, a lot of startups are stepping into the same potholes over and over again. If only people knew this up front from listening to the advice in the driven, mentoring session, the carpool karaoke for entrepreneurs mentoring session, they actually hear real live conversations that are behind the curtain.
Exactly.
And so, with how to not get effed, it's not the sensationalism. We have Super Pumped for Uber, and we have We Crashed, and for WeWork. Everybody wants the big train wrecks, but there's a lot of opportunities to learn about building culture and how to hire the next team when you have the next big raise come in, as we've seen on Driven right now.
Exactly.
And then women in entrepreneurship also.
With Sheconomics. And Black is the New Green.
So we're seeing some more traction with that. Great. So
it's an ever-evolving slate, but the goal of this programming is so that these entrepreneurs can be spotlighted and invested in on the retail side. And so that's what makes Radivision so different, is it is, in fact, the bridging of two different worlds and enabling that for all the reasons we've just discussed.
And we've designed our shows so that each one answers a piece of the puzzle or delivers a piece of the puzzle to people.
Right.
Yeah. And then there's also the opportunity for the user generated content through Pitch Planet and through the profile. So, and we built an entire Netflix like streaming platform, very inspired by Netflix and Disney Plus. And we also have a social network integrated together. So as far as I know, no one else has done that before. But with every episode you watch, you click, you immediately get in touch with the companies, you immediately click to get in touch with founders. You can follow companies. And then soon we want companies to start, creating their stories, just like TikTok stories. We just hired this new person. We have this new product launching, and people will follow this. We proved it. Our first month out testing, we had over 1 million video views on just $5,000 of Facebook ads. And we had 20 shares for every view that we paid for. So people love the content. They were so inspired by the entrepreneurs and their passion and their brilliant products that were being created. But
Exactly.
when I went there by myself without Kelly, Hollywood, they didn't see, millions of Instagram followers. So they still found it hard to believe themselves. And that's why I engaged Kelly also to help us tell the story of the right people and focus on what we needed to focus on in order to get the attention and get the right partnerships going, which are in process now.
Yeah, and like anything, dominoes need to fall before other people come off the sidelines. That's just the way it is with any startup, and Radivision is a startup, as well as where it'll wind up as a media company.
Yeah. So one of the questions we get is that, why is it taking you so long? So we've been building this for 6 years. It took us a year just to produce the first episodes of Driven and the Visionaries. And we took those out and got our 1 million views, to prove our MVP, our minimally viable product. And so people ask, why did it take so long? Well, remember, Disney, with all of its resources, took almost 2.5 years to create Disney Plus. And Hulu also took 2 years to go live, and they had $100 million from day one. So I didn't even realize how big a project I took on. I would have never done it probably.
And Netflix almost died in between their old model of the red envelope DVDs winding up in your mailbox and pivoting to streaming. And that took several years.
Yeah. I didn't know that. See, that's what having someone who understands and knows, the history of the people can tell us, which is great.
So things take time to build and
So I see that we had told people we would talk for half an hour today, and we can go a few minutes over if people would like, if they ask a lot of questions. Why don't we do a quick demo of the platform in case some people haven't seen it? So Liam is going to drive and I'm going to narrate through it. And so we'll show you a little bit of the platform, and then I would love to maybe open up some questions. Liam, are you able to click through to our platform screenshot? Okay, perhaps there's a technical difficulty, so we're going to continue talking a little bit. Oh, here we go. Okay, so we're actually live on our own platform right now. We're in the hero image, and we hope by fall to be doing a lot more of that. So you see the Radical Visionaries is our first carousel. So about half the traffic that comes to the site goes there. And anyone new who comes in and creates profile pages, we welcome them by featuring them at the very top. And viewers can click directly to your profile pages, learn more about you, and also watch a lot more of your videos. So a lot of these videos are user generated and available online. We've curated them also. And then we also have a lot of original videos. Like you saw, Christina Hawetma here is the second one, Escopio. She has a visionary episode. Adeo Resi, who you saw previously, founder of Founder Institute and VC Labs. I'm sorry if I messed up the name of his new venture, but he was in a Driven episode #1, Go Big or Go Home. And then if you scroll down a little bit, Liam, we can see the Pitch Planet carousel. So Pitch Planet is the 99-second trailers and videos. And we found here that in our pilot test, we had over 350,000 people or visitors coming to the site last year during the pilot. And the average person watched 8 videos. So they flipped through and they found the ones that they liked. You see our own videos there because we actually have a Testing the Waters campaign. So people can click. So we're testing the crowdfunding model right now ourselves, or in the Testing the Water stage. And there's a disclosure, and you can go to wefunder.com/Radivision to see that. And then you can click through and see the other companies. You can also, Liam, why don't you hit our invest button? I'm sorry, I know I told you to click through, but if you haven't yet, click the invest button and show like how easy it is, or the more info button. And you can see everything right there. The video follows you. You don't skip a beat. And then you can go on to, wherever the founder or company sends you. So it's up to the company where to send people, and all the information is right there in one place: website, social media, and so on. And then Liam, if you can scroll back to the homepage and show us down the platform, we also have a lot of curated resources. So college students always are, 60% of college students graduating today want to be entrepreneurs. They don't want a big corporate job. 17% of graduating seniors already have a business that they've created, and yet it's very hard for them to get information. So part of what I wanted to do is make this super easy so that any consumer could come in, understand this really complicated business that's private, it's opaque, it's fragmented. You have to have warm intros without knowing people. And it's legally complex, financially complex. So we wanted to simplify it and have everything all in one place for the first time ever, creating a hub. So we're not just taking television and putting it online and calling it streaming media. We actually are integrating it using the power of social media to connect and empower people. And connect the ecosystem all together. So bringing in all the accounting firms and law firms and supporters. So you can see here, we've curated the top newsletters. Every college student should just go in and subscribe to every single one of these. Have that information come into your inbox, books, and podcasts, and so on and so forth. And then Liam, if you can take us back to the top, we're building communities around Pitch Planet, around Sheconomics. I would love to show everybody the Sheconomics page, which we're going to be celebrating in March for Women's History Month. So we'll be featuring 10 amazing organizations that are supporting women entrepreneurs and telling their stories. We actually did a series with TriNet, our brand partner. Their chief marketing officer was president of Disney Studios and EVP of Disney Global Marketing. So if you can go to the community button at the top also, so these are 8 produced videos and they're really amazing. And we brought in Emily Chang from Bloomberg, who was the host interviewer. She did a beautiful job, really inspiring stories of 8 women founders. And then, our community buttons aren't showing while apparently while we're broadcasting. So we hope very soon to be broadcasting daily, and we want to be interviewing more of our startups. So it's free to join. People can come in. And remember, there's $64 trillion of retail investor assets. And I would guesstimate around 45 trillion of that is in IRAs and 401ks. It used to be 55. So I'm sure it dropped a little bit, but still 45 trillion. And that money can go into IPOs. It can go into venture funds. It can go into ETFs. It can go into crowdfunding directly to companies. As long as it gets to the companies eventually, that's the most important thing. And if we can make it even safer for retail investors, more of them will participate. So that was our original thinking, Kelly. And
Yep.
Am I still on the mark there?
I think so.
All right.
Well summarized.
Fantastic. So why don't we open up for some Q&A? What do you think?
Let's do it.
Okay. So it's 23 after the hour. And if our engineers would be kind enough to open
again,
our
I do think it's important to reinforce for people to learn more to go to radivision.com. All the details that Mona just skimmed through are there for you to review at your leisure.
Yeah. There's over about 50,000 content items already on the site. There's over 3,000 company and person profile pages. So there is a lot that is going on, and we would love for you to be a part of that. Okay, and I can't tell if the chat window is open or not. I see there's a comment bar here. Apparently we were backstage, we were on our comment bar. So maybe
there's one.
Somebody wants to promote us. That's nice. Thank you for your interest. We'll talk to you later. We're a little busy right now, but thank you. All right. And oh, I see. There's some comments here. Nope. All right. So something must be up. I apologize, guys. It's worked in every other broadcast before. So Kelly and I will tell more stories. So you can also find out about Radivision and own a piece of this network while we're still small and launching at wefunder.com/Radivision. And you have, it literally is a public offering. This is testing the water. So there's a disclosure that's there. It's on the invitation also that you RSVP'd on. We have to announce that as part of the regulations. And it's on the WeFunder site and everything is there. Our deck, our financial data, all of our team member data, our future projections, our risks, all sorts of terrific things. So, and if you have any questions, just reach out to me, Mona@radivision.com. Oh, here's some questions coming in now. So someone's asking, is Radivision a crowdfunding platform? The answer is no, we are not. Crowdfunding platforms have to be licensed by the SEC, and we are a media company. So we're here to entertain and inform and connect you to a crowdfunding platform or to a broker dealer or to a company, an issuer. Those are the legal ways that the SEC allows viewers to connect. We're not a crowdfunding company. And then someone else asked, how can I get started? So it's really easy. You go to radivision.com. There's a blue button on the top right-hand corner that says join. So you can click on that and join, just like Facebook, LinkedIn, any other social media network. It's free. You can also go at the top nav menu, upper nav menu is, it says more, and under more, there's a get started page, and there's how-to videos. There's Q&A. You can also go to the about page and see a longer introduction video about Radivision story. It's about 3 minutes, and it tells you about our brand. So we believe that entrepreneurship and its equity creation are the most powerful ways to fix the problems in the world and to create great wealth and to empower humanity. And
we have a question, Mona, about why you started Radivision, and I think you're explaining it as you're talking.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, so I started it because I was traveling internationally and I saw this massive boom in entrepreneurship activity, and I was unaware that all of this was happening, and everybody had a million questions. They were on first generation. Silicon Valley was in 6th generation. We have a lot of knowledge and wisdom, and I thought that we could use media as a way to inform the rest of the world and create a boom in more entrepreneurial activity and more success, so that people wouldn't make the same mistakes over and over that we've known about here through 1st through 6th generation. I also, realized that when I was traveling internationally, there are 3 shows that everybody watches no matter where they are in the world or what language they speak. Football or soccer. Everybody watches the World Cup. And the Oscars, everybody loves celebrities in the Oscars and tunes in. And the third was Shark Tank. Shocking, right? And those of us here in the industry, we cringe when we hear Shark Tank. I mean, sometimes we watch it and don't tell our friends because it can be a little addictive, but most of the time it doesn't represent what we really do here and the levels of valuations and the multi-billion-dollar companies we're building. Although Ring was sold for $1 billion to Amazon, they pitched and they didn't get any money from the sharks, right? But someone watched the show, Branson, he saw it, he liked it, and he clicked, right? So that's what we're doing. We're creating a whole channel for Richard Branson to come in and click and fund you, right? By seeing your story. So I see another question. How do I tell my startup story? And we mentioned a lot of ways. You create your profile pages, you upload, stories, media, posts, videos. And then we really would like for you to keep coming back on a weekly, monthly, bi-monthly basis and update your followers. So we want to help you build the communities and get people to continue and see your progress. So Joe is asking about investing. Thank you, Joe. Yes, go to wefunder.com/Radivision. And you can also email me, Mona@radivision.com. Those are the 2 ways that we can connect, but all the information is on WeFunder right now. And thank you for asking. Oh, someone's asking where I see Radivision in 5 years. That's a great question, Kelly. Would you like to jump in? And
hopefully we will have a very rich, broad, additional, beyond what we've got right now, slate of programming that is compelling to watch, very entertaining, very educational, and that, allows people to invest in what would be the next kind of Netflix if you could have invested in Netflix way back when it was the beginning of a powerful streaming channel. That's my thought. And of course, beyond that is an extrapolation, an opportunity to help grow the economy through people being able to invest in all these deserved startups.
I think it's inevitable, honestly. I don't see how, I mean, there's just so much friction right now because there's so much innovation and 90% of it is tapped down. Like it's going to burst any minute now, right?
Yeah.
That kind of pressure cooker can't last for long. So luckily
Exactly.
the SEC was ahead of the time 12 years ago and got started. I also want to add that, yeah, so I do see us as being as big as ESPN, any of the other platforms. I do see hundreds of millions of users globally. I think internationally, they're going to be even more interested because they have fewer options right now. And many of the companies that are producing the highest returns are in the US. There's more infrastructure here. So there's a good opportunity to also attract external capital, import money into the US economy. That's always a good thing. And I want to mention, like ESPN, they have all this wonderful sports programming and interview commentary shows, and they have statistics also so that people can come in and place their sports bets.
And of course, what happened to ESPN? They were acquired by Disney. So you never know what's possible in terms of where Radivision could be, could either continue to build and grow or at some point have some kind of an acquisition.
Right. And it makes a lot of sense for us because startup funding is a challenging environment still. Radivision, hasn't been around for 10 years and helping us, or 2 years, but we're almost there. We've been around for 6 years. And so the boom is here. But it would make sense to have a strategic partner who can put 100 million into the company and really take it to the top level very quickly. Like Disney Plus was built from 0 in 2 years to 200 million, users within the first 6 months. I think it was pretty incredible, or the first year at least. Very impressive. But there is a multi-billion-dollar sports betting referral business. We saw that ESPN did a deal with Caesars that they closed for, I believe, $3 billion, or was announced at $3 billion originally, for naming rights for the sports referral business. So that's just one deal, okay, for that. So we have that kind of potential for the investor referral business as well. And then you're seeing some of the biggest names in private equity now creating retail investment opportunities, not just crowdfunding, but with the biggest names, Blackstone, KKR, Apollo, Carlyle Group, even Kathy Wood, ARK Investments. She partnered with Titan, and they now have a retail fund that allows anyone to come in with $500 or more and own a piece of some of, of her fund, which owns pieces of some of the largest unicorns and so on and so forth.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're a little bit over time. Any last words of wisdom for us, Kelly?
I don't think so. I think we covered pretty much what we intended to, and I hope it was informative and fun for everybody watching.
Fantastic. And the video on demand will be available very soon. So tune in, share it with your friends if they missed it. And thank you for joining us and for being a member and supporter of Radivision. And thank you, Kelly, for all your great support and advice.
My pleasure.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.